LEGO loves to experiment, and while some sets become instant classics, others not so much. From cursed character designs to head-scratching vehicles, there's no shortage of LEGO misfires that have left fans either laughing or shouting, "What were they thinking?" Starting things off strong, or not, is the LEGO Star Wars TIE Fighter and X-Wing mashup. Inspired by the Rebuild the Galaxy Disney Plus special, this set takes two of the most iconic ships in the franchise and fuses them into one confused-looking creation. The problem? We've seen plenty of TIE Fighters and X-Wings before, and better versions too. This one looks like LEGO raided its own parts bin during a coffee break and called it a day. Fans were hoping for something innovative, but got a Frankenstein build that no one really asked for instead. From space battles to questionable character models, LEGO Despicable Me brick-built Gru and Minions offers something truly unsettling. While the Minions look decent enough in their brick-built form, the real issue is Gru, specifically his cursed face. Gru's expression has the strange power to haunt dreams and ruin childhoods. It's not easy to mess up a character design this badly, but somehow this build manages it. The set was clearly aiming for charm, but ended up in horror territory instead. Next up is the LEGO Marvel Superheroes Spider-Man race car and Venom, which feels like it came from an alternate universe where Spidey gave up swinging and started drag racing. Nothing about Spider-Man having a race car makes sense. He's a wall-crawling, web-slinging hero, not a NASCAR driver. The build itself doesn't justify its $35 price tag either. Sure, the Venomized Green Goblin figure is cool, but it's not enough to salvage the weirdness of the whole concept. Most fans just stared at this set and went, why? Then there's LEGO Harry Potter Hedwig at Privet Drive, a set that sounds magical but looks more like a rejected prototype. The brick-built Hedwig is meant to be majestic, but instead ends up stiff and awkward. Compared to earlier, more elegant versions of the character, this one feels like it's missing both grace and detail. The small chunk of Privet Drive included doesn't do much to help, and the random trunk accessory adds to the "why is this even here" energy. A nostalgic moment turns sour. Keeping things in the wizarding world, the LEGO Harry Potter Forbidden Forest Magical Creatures tries to capture the mystery of the Forbidden Forest, but does it with bright blue trees. You read that right. Blue trees. It's a design choice that instantly pulled fans out of the fantasy. Pair that with a bunch of magical creatures like Thestrals and Buckbeak shoved together despite never being on screen at the same time, and you get a set that feels like fanfiction gone off the rails. While the build themselves aren't terrible, the forest setting is such a misfire that it drags the whole thing down. Swinging back into space, LEGO Star Wars creative Play Droid Builder attempts to add some whimsical fun to droid design. But it goes full chaos instead. You get tiny droids dressed in rubber duck floaties, top hats, and all sorts of accessories that feel more out of place than funny. While LEGO has a good track record with humor, this one misses the mark. On top of that, why does it cost $100? Yes, there's an anniversary minifigure included, but most fans saw that as a shiny distraction to make an otherwise incoherent set look special. Spoiler, it didn't work. Then there's LEGO Disney Inside Out 2 Mood Cubes, which might be the most confusing one of the bunch. The set introduces mood cubes, a concept that even die-hard fans of the movie were unfamiliar with. It tries to tie into the emotional theme of the film, but ends up feeling like a random assortment of tiny builds with little connection to anything. The use of mini dolls instead of traditional minifigures didn't help either, especially for characters like Joy and Anxiety, who fans expected to see with more expressive designs. Add a barely there control room, and the set just feels like a huge missed opportunity. The LEGO Sonic the Hedgehog, Knuckles, and the Master Emerald Shrine is a build dedicated to the iconic Master Emerald, featuring everyone's favorite Grumpy Echidna. But here's the plot twist. There's no Master Emerald. Yup, the very thing the set is supposedly built around is nowhere to be found. It's like calling a set Batcave Showdown and forgetting to include Batman. Fans were not amused. Sure, it comes with a Knuckles figure and a nice looking shrine, but when the title of the set literally includes Master Emerald, you kind of expect to see the Master Emerald. The build also feels a bit small and underwhelming for its $35 price tag. It's not the worst Sonic set ever, but it definitely feels like a bait and switch. From emeralds to engines, the disappointment continues with LEGO Speed Champions NASCAR Next Gen Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. That was a mouthful. Now, Speed Champions usually nails it with sleek designs and cool details. This one felt like it took a pit stop and never left. The car's color scheme is awkward, the angles are strange, and there are way too many stickers trying and failing to make up for it. Fans were left with a boxy, bland vehicle that barely evokes the thrill of racing. This may actually be the worst 8-stud wide Speed Champion set of all time. And considering how high that line standards usually are, that's saying something. Next up is LEGO Police Car and Muscle Car Chase. The classic LEGO City cop and robber formula is still going strong, but this particular set had fans scratching their heads. It features a muscle car and a police car, but somehow neither of them hits the mark. The muscle car has an odd design that looks more cartoonish than tough, and the police car, well, the police car looks like someone spilled a box of neon highlighters on it. The color scheme is bright, chaotic, and feels more suited for a clown parade than a high-speed chase. This set just doesn't sit right with me. It's the kind of set that feels like it came out of a design committee that never once saw an actual car. Now, the General Grievous Combat Speeder sounds like a solid deal. You get the legendary cyborg General Grievous and Mace Windu for $30. Sounds like a bargain, right? Well, not exactly. The speeder itself is where things start to fall apart, literally and metaphorically. Fans were quick to point out that this thing is way too oversized compared to how it appeared in the Star Wars universe. Like, this speeder could probably double as a dinner table. Sure, the larger size lets you slap on some extra details, but it just looks goofy next to other sets. And while the minifigures save it from being a total disaster, the build feels like LEGO tried to stretch a small vehicle into something big enough to justify the price, and it just didn't land. Speaking of things that didn't land, let's talk about the LEGO First Order AT-DT, also known by fans as the Headless Walker. This set is straight up bizarre. Imagine buying a Star Wars walker only to find out it's missing its head and kind of just ends. It's like the designers got halfway through the build and decided, yeah, that's enough, ship it. It doesn't help that it's tied to The Last Jedi, a movie that already divided fans harder than a lightsaber through butter. But hey, there's a silver lining. Captain Phasma, Disguise Finn, and Rose come with it, and apparently that's enough to keep the aftermarket price weirdly high at around $70, because nothing says collector's item like a glorified walker leg and a handful of minifigs. Now we arrive at the Resistance X-Wing, part of LEGO's 4+ line. And oh boy, it shows. This one was clearly made for the younger Padawans out there, but that didn't stop older fans from roasting it like a bantha on a spit. The X-Wing build looks like something Poe Dameron cobbled together in 5 minutes with leftover parts. It's blocky, lacks detail, and honestly kind of sad to look at. The set includes Poe and a BB-8 piece, but there's not much else going on. For seasoned fans, it's the equivalent of showing up to a lightsaber duel with a pool noodle. It's fine for small kids, sure, but if you're over the age of 6 and this shows up under your tree, you'll probably start questioning your life choices. Now, let's go back in time to 2005 with the ultimate lightsaber duel. You'd think a set featuring the iconic duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin would be an instant classic. Instead, we got what feels like a LEGO fever dream. This set had light-up lightsabers, which sounds amazing in theory, except they barely worked and were more frustrating than fun. The arena build was underwhelming even by 2005 standards. And those minifigs, they were forever cursed by the battery compartments stuffed into their torsos, making them clunky and unusable in any other set. It's the kind of set that screams, cool idea, terrible execution. And most fans would rather reenact the Mustafar duel with chopsticks than build this again. If you thought that was disappointing, wait until you meet the LEGO Action Battle, Endor Assault. Part of LEGO's attempt to make Star Wars into some kind of Nerf gun hybrid, this set gave us tiny structures with spring-loaded shooters that turned battles into weird carnival games. Instead of epic duels or dramatic chases, you were flinging studs at flimsy builds like an angry Ewok at a piñata. The Ewok Watchtower was forgettable. The speeder bike looked like it was on a juice cleanse, and overall, it just felt like LEGO took a hard left into gimmick territory. It was more about flicking missiles than actually building something cool, and that didn't sit well with fans who preferred their battles epic and their builds sturdy. Things don't get much better with Hoth Generator Attack, also part of the Action Battle line. This one gave us a tiny shield generator and an E-Web cannon, but let's be honest, it looked like the set came from a discount bin on Hoth. The idea was to knock the generator down using those same spring-loaded shooters, but again, it felt more like a board game than a LEGO set. While Hoth usually delivers in terms of minifigs and atmosphere, this one just felt half-baked. There was very little play value even for kids, and zero appeal for display purposes. It's the kind of set that makes you wonder if LEGO designers had 5 minutes and a leftover lunch break to finish it. And of course, we can't talk about Star Wars LEGO fails without mentioning the buildable figures line from 2015 to 2018. In theory, this was supposed to be LEGO's cool fusion of Bionicle-style articulation with Star Wars characters. In reality, it was nightmare fuel. The faces were especially cursed. Take the Rey figure from The Last Jedi, for instance. It didn't look like Rey. It looked like Rey's distant cousin from a bootleg parallel universe and maybe Alabama. The arms were weirdly bulky thanks to reused Bionicle parts, and feminine characters ended up looking like they were wearing football shoulder pads. It was all just wrong. The whole line ended up being one of LEGO Star Wars' biggest misfires, and today, they mostly live in clearance bins and fan rants. Here, we've got the LEGO Simpson house. Now, you'd think a collaboration with one of the most iconic animated series ever would be an instant win, right? Not quite. When LEGO announced its Simpsons themed set, some fans clutched their pearls, arguing that the show wasn't appropriate for LEGO's family-friendly image. There were even online petitions trying to stop it. Ironically, by 2021, the Simpsons looked downright wholesome next to stuff like BoJack Horseman and Big Mouth. Despite the initial outrage, the set became a fan favorite, and probably helped a lot of adults justify their brick addiction. From animated suburbia to military-grade controversy, next up is the LEGO Technic V22 Osprey. This set never officially made it to shelves, and for good reason. Based on a real military aircraft, it caught the attention of groups like the German Peace Society, who argued that LEGO was breaking its own rule about not making sets based on real-world military equipment. With mounting pressure, LEGO did a quick U-turn and canceled the release entirely. Of course, a few copies leaked out into the wild, making them rare collector's items. It's the LEGO equivalent of a banned book. Everybody suddenly wanted it because they couldn't have it. Speaking of unintended offense, the LEGO Jabba's Palace set stirred up its own storm. A Turkish cultural association pointed out that the structure looked suspiciously like the Hagia Sophia Mosque, and they weren't thrilled that Jabba the Hutt, who kinda looks like a space mafia boss / slug terrorist, was living there. They argued the set was culturally insensitive. LEGO quickly responded, saying it was inspired by Star Wars, not any real-world architecture. Still, the damage was done, and the debate about cultural representation in toy design made its way into the headlines. Then, there's the case of LEGO Explore Super Truck, which didn't get people mad, it just got people hurt. The set had metal axles in the wheels, and a few unfortunate kids ended up injured during play. LEGO had no choice but to recall the set, marking one of those rare occasions when the controversy wasn't about content but basic safety. It was a big oops moment and a reminder that even the most beloved toy brand has to get its engineering right. Moving from bruised fingers to bruised reputations, the LEGO Shell set caused a major stir back in 2014. These sets were branded in partnership with Shell, the oil company, and for years, no one batted an eye. That changed when Greenpeace released a haunting video showing an adorable Arctic LEGO world drowning in oil. It went viral, and suddenly the idea of little plastic bricks promoting big oil didn't sit so well. The public backlash was so intense that LEGO cut ties with Shell. It was a landmark moment, forcing LEGO and other brands to think harder about who they team up with. And then there was Mr. Gold, the 2013 golden minifigure that practically turned LEGO collectors into treasure hunters. Only 5,000 were made and randomly packed into Series 10 blind bags. Sounds exciting in theory, but in practice, it sparked total chaos. People were camping out at stores, scalping prices went through the roof, and some shady stuff went down with store employees hoarding figures. The backlash was so intense that LEGO vowed to never release such a limited minifigure again. Mr. Gold became the stuff of legend and frustration. If you thought LEGO couldn't spark a gender debate, think again. Enter LEGO Friends. Launched in 2012 and aimed at young girls, with its pastel palettes, shopping malls, and tea parties, critics slammed it for reinforcing gender stereotypes. Campaigns like Pink Stinks accused LEGO of telling girls their place was in a cupcake bakery, not on a spaceship or pirate ship. Yet despite all that heat, the line was a massive hit. Clearly, there's a market for pink bricks, but the controversy opened up a bigger conversation about gender roles in play. Now, onto the icy battlefield of disappointment, LEGO Assault on Hoth. This was part of the Ultimate Collector series, and expectations were sky high. But instead of epic, fans got meh. People slammed it for being repetitive, poorly designed, and filled with reused elements from older sets. Even the box art felt lazy. It's one of the most infamous letdowns in LEGO Star Wars history, like expecting a lightsaber duel and getting a snowball fight. In 2020, LEGO police sets got caught up in real-world events during the George Floyd protests and the height of the Black Lives Matter movement. In response to public outcry and shifting sentiments around police portrayal, LEGO quietly removed police sets from online listings. The move drew both praise and criticism. It was a tough spot, trying to balance social responsibility with childhood fantasy, but it showed that even LEGO isn't immune to the broader conversations happening in the world. The LEGO Hulkbuster from Avengers Age of Ultron should have been a dream for Marvel fans. Over 4,000 pieces standing at a whopping 19 inches tall was supposed to be the ultimate Iron Man display piece. Instead, it felt like Tony Stark got caught halfway through a redesign and just said, Close enough. The most obvious issue? Those shoulders. They're weirdly shaped, oversized, and have exposed ball joints. What makes it worse is the other sets from the same era, like Mighty Bowser, managed to hide their joints way better. And don't even get me started on the ankles. Those skinny little pegs barely support the massive frame, making it look like Iron Man skipped leg day entirely. Then there's the chest, which is bulkier than a gym bro on pre-workout and doesn't match the movie version at all. Turns out, the whole mess came from trying to cram in compatibility with LEGO's Iron Man buildable figure. This set was supposed to open up and fit that figure inside, but that meant sacrificing proportions. So for $550, fans basically got a bobble-headed mech with noodle legs. Yikes. Now, while the Hulkbuster fell apart under the weight of its ambition, the LEGO Star Wars Sergeant Jyn Erso figure just kind of existed. Released in 2016 as part of the buildable figure line, this set was supposed to capture the spirit of Rogue One. Instead, it captured the spirit of a forgotten background NPC. The color scheme is about exciting as a wet napkin. Gray, brown, and all kinds of drab. But the real kicker is the face. It's trapped in that weird uncanny valley space where it doesn't really look human, but it's clearly trying to. The whole thing feels more like a bootleg toy you find at a flea market. Unsurprisingly, it didn't sell well. And even years later, you can still find it collecting dust on store shelves. LEGO quietly retired the figures in 2017, probably hoping we'd all just forget about it. Newsflash, we didn't. While Jyn Erso was bland, the Galador LEGO theme was, well, cursed. Galador Defenders of the Outer Dimension was meant to be a cool sci-fi series with its own line of buildable figures. What fans got instead was a plastic fever dream. The figures look nothing like traditional LEGO. No bricks, no studs, just weird bendy limbs and awkward faces. Take Nick, the main guy, and Allegra, his sidekick. They looked like knockoff action figures from a dollar store clearance bin. And then there's Allegra's pet, which is so strange no one even remembers what it was. A creature, a robot, a tragic accident? We may never know. Even the villain Gorm Deluxe was just a blob of black plastic with no personality. LEGO tried to sell this as a remixable toy line, but fans weren't buying it. Literally. The whole Galador line tanked so hard that it's still considered one of LEGO's biggest flops to date. From forgotten space flops to disappointing anniversaries, let's talk about the LEGO Ninjago 10th anniversary brickheads. This should have been a celebration. Instead, it felt like a rushed gift card from someone who clearly forgot your birthday. The set includes Nia and Lloyd in Brickhead's form, which is fine, but the dragon they added to the mix? That's where things went off the rails. The dragon looks like it skipped leg day and jaw day. Its body is awkwardly shaped, its underbite is straight up tragic, and the wings are so big and clunky that they make the whole thing look like it's about to topple over. Compared to other Ninjago sets, which are usually awesome, this one felt like a filler episode in a great TV show. Next, let's rewind to 2002 for one of the most laughably lazy promotions in LEGO history, the World Cup bottle case and signboard sets. These were exclusive giveaways in Japan during the World Cup, and, well, someone at LEGO was clearly phoning it in. The signboard was just 3 pieces. That's it. Not even creatively arranged, just 3 chunks of white plastic pretending to be a sign. The bottle case had slightly more effort, thanks to a red container piece that was mildly interesting at the time. But beyond that, total snooze fest. These sets had 0 creativity, 0 replay value, and 0 staying power. It's like LEGO just reached into their spare parts bin and said, good enough. Then there's the LEGO police car from 1991. Now this one isn't terrible, it's just painfully basic. With only 23 pieces, it's about as exciting as putting together an IKEA pencil holder. Yes, it came with a minifigure, and yes, it technically resembled a car. But even for the early 90s, it felt bare bones. Kids didn't even get much bang for their buck, and in a world where LEGO was already doing cool pirate ships and castles, a tiny boxy cop car wasn't exactly thrilling. Next is the infamous LEGO Audi TT Roadster. Now, this set was supposed to be a cool little giveaway for the grand opening of Legoland Germany. A mini Audi TT. Sounds awesome, right? Nope. This was basically a car-shaped mess. The build completely butchered the sleek design of the real Audi TT, ending up with something that looked like it had been squished in a vise. Worse, it didn't come with instructions, just a photo on the box. So good luck figuring it out. And to top it all off, some of the chrome Technic pieces didn't even fit properly. They broke or warped when assembled. The backlash was so bad, LEGO actually changed how they reviewed set designs moving forward. So, silver lining, right? Here we've got the 2001 LEGO Technic C-3PO. Now, Technic builds are usually for flexing engineering skills, but this one, it looks like C-3PO if he fell into a junkyard and got reassembled by toddlers. Over a foot tall and made from 341 pieces, the final result is lanky, hollow, and just off. Instead of capturing the golden charm of our favorite protocol droid, it resembles a bootleg toy from a gas station. Fans didn't bite, and it's still floating around secondhand markets for about $20, though frankly, that might still be too generous. Then we hit the 2021 Marvel's Eternals Aerial Assault. With only 133 pieces and a $10 price tag, you'd think, hey, maybe it's a decent little set. Nope. The Flying Deviant looks more like a bug-shaped paperweight, and the minifigs barely resemble the film's characters. LEGO usually nails Marvel stuff, but this one? It's like they phoned it in while watching something else entirely. Fans called it lackluster, and that pretty much sums it up. And speaking of phoning it in, Marvel's Spider-Trike vs. Electro from the same year, with 70 pieces for $13, you're paying about 18 cents per part, and not even cool ones. The Trike has 4 wheels, which mathematically disqualifies it from being a trike. The only thing saving this set from being a complete joke is the exclusive Electro minifig. But still, if you're paying for just one minifigure, maybe skip the trike-shaped lie. Moving back to the wizarding world, we have LEGO Harry Potter Aragog in the Dark Forest. This one had potential. It came with Harry, Ron, and a giant spider. But Aragog? Yikes. Instead of magical menace, you get nightmare fuel. Between the oversized pincers and way too many eyes, it traumatized more kids than it entertained. It's one of the lowest rated Harry Potter sets, mostly because people didn't want this version of Aragog glaring at them from a shelf. Now let's dive into one of LEGO's weirdest business decisions, LEGO Ben 10 Alien Force. There were 6 of these buildable figures and they all bombed. But Humongosaur? Oh man. It only had 14 pieces, cost $15, and somehow still managed to feel unfinished. That's over $1 per piece. It was so bad that it actually holds the title for lowest rated LEGO set ever, clocking in at a rough 2.3 stars. If you bought this as a kid, you were probably grounded just for wasting money. Back in the Ninjago universe, we got Jay's Thunder Dragon Evo. On paper, 140 pieces and a $20 price tag sounds okay, but once built, the dragon looks more like a clumsy lizard with tiny wings and a tail that forgot to grow. Fans roasted it for the poor design and unimpressive size, especially when compared to the other epic Ninjago dragons. It just didn't evolve into anything worth displaying. And let's not forget the LEGO Ninjago car. Yes, it's literally called Car. No dramatic Ninjago twists, just Car. It came as a freebie in a magazine that had 27 pieces. Even for a giveaway, it felt like LEGO gave up halfway through and said, slap 4 wheels on it and call it a day. The build is so basic, it makes Duplo look sophisticated. It holds a sad 2.9 star rating and is often cited as the laziest set in Ninjago history. Next on the chopping block is the LEGO Legends of Chima buildable figures. These were supposed to be action figure styled builds to ride the wave of LEGO Hero Factory, but the wave crashed hard. The worst offender, Chi Eris, rated just 2.9 stars. These figures had around 50 to 90 pieces and still cost $15 to $20 each. They didn't pose well, didn't look great, and fans weren't fooled, especially since it followed the already disappointing Ben 10 line, Twice Bitten, Forever Shy. LEGO, I won't forgive you for ruining this set in my childhood. Now brace yourself for the wonderfully absurd LEGO Jackstone Super Glider. This one's infamous. Why? Because the glider is literally a piece of paper, not even a creative paper fold. Just a cutout, and the figure that came with it glued together. So no customization, no rebuilding, nothing. 6 total pieces and not even 6 good ones. It's regularly listed among the worst LEGO sets ever, and honestly, fair. Last, but certainly not least, or is it, we have one of LEGO's more experimental flops, LEGO Video Alien DJ Beatbox. The concept, music-themed sets where you could scan tiles with an app to create songs. Sounds fun in theory, but in practice, it was confusing, overpriced, and pointless. The Alien DJ Beatbox had just 73 pieces and cost $20, so about 30 cents per piece, and most of those were decorative tiles. Sure, the minifig looked cool, but fans weren't about to pay a premium for one groovy alien and a plastic case of full disappointment. Do you think these sets deserve the hate and criticism? If so, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe.